Almighty God, who, in thy infinite wisdom and providential goodness, hast appointed the offices of rulers and councils for the welfare of society and the just government of man. We beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us thy servants, whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of such important trust in the Commonwealth of Dominica. Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this Parliament assembly, and grant that we may, as in thy presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote thy honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests thou hast committed to our charge. All which we ask in the name and for the sake of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. I didn't see behind. Okay. Can you exchange place with other member on your side? Maybe again.
Madam Speaker, I am proud to stand this morning, support, and celebrate with all Dominicans this 2019-2020 budget presented by the Honorable Prime Minister. I say praise and thanks to the Almighty for the leadership of the Prime Minister and for all his blessings and mercies that he has poured onto this nation. Madam Speaker, we celebrate indeed because the budget offers so many great opportunities to the nation, and this definitely cannot be debated. The budget provisions are directed towards our achieving our vision of a modern, new, and climate-resilient Dominica. Madam Speaker, like a pregnant woman, we are in labor. We are giving birth to a new Dominica, a new day, a new season. Madam Speaker, this budget has something for everyone, for every community, for every sector. Madam Speaker, this is why the opposition leader yesterday seemed so flat. His delivery was flat. He seemed very deflated. When he went to bed that night, he couldn't think of anything that he could have added. He couldn't even muster energy next morning to deliver. That is why it felt like we were in real agony listening to him, rambling, not offering any realistic, plausible alternative. And at one point, even his colleagues stopped applauding or supporting. There is so much to say to support this year's budget. But Madam Speaker, I will focus on the opportunities for innovation, enterprise, and private sector development that will continue to transform our economy and generate growth and development. If truth be told, Madam Speaker, we have a transformational and visionary Prime Minister, and the Labour Party government is the only government that continues to transform our society. I'll start with agriculture, Madam Speaker, because I represent several rural communities that are largely involved in agriculture and fishing, and will certainly benefit from the various projects and programs that will be rolled out this financial year. Madam Speaker, this year's budget provides significant investments in agriculture, over 20 million, that will continue to ensure food security, increase production, import substitution, and export diversification of the agricultural sector, modernization of the sector, and sustainable livelihoods. Madam Speaker, we have made great strides since Hurricane Maria in restoring production, with timely and consistent support from the government of Dominica to farmers and fisherfolk. We now have a more diversified agricultural sector. Madam Speaker, I listened to the opposition leader who seems, as usual, not to be in touch with reality. I also heard the member of Wesley lament about agriculture as well, failing to admit that this government continues to make serious investments in agriculture. Madam Speaker, they need to do their research. They need to probably visit the multi-purpose pack house and understand what's happening. For easy reference, they can look at the social and economic review that was given to them, and that indicates that we now have a diversified agricultural sector, especially when they look at the table showing our export of fresh produce. In particular, I am very excited about the new areas outlined in the budget for modernizing agriculture, and I am sure interested youth, our young farmers, our women farmers will be excited too. I speak of the provisions made for the project where we will focus on hydroponics, aquaculture, greenhouse technology, new ways, modern ways of getting involved in agriculture to expand the sector. Already, we have quite a number of young farmers who are interested in agriculture. I think of persons like Lenny O'Brien and a number of others, even within my constituency. Madam Speaker, it is imperative, too, that commercial farmers be empowered to operate agricultural enterprises as businesses, as a means of livelihood and commerce. So, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Commerce, we will partner in this project that will seek to establish clusters for training and capacity building, and in the area of business management, business continuity, record keeping, among other relevant areas. We speak too of hotel development, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in hotel development, we are leading right now in the region. Madam Speaker, it is necessary to ensure that our people take full advantage of the development of the new hotels in Dominica, to include five-star hotels. This is a major cornerstone for local economic growth, for increased tax revenue, for further capital investments, for growth, particularly in the area in related products in the tourism industry. We talk of agro-tourism, community tourism, heritage, and cultural tourism. We know of the hundreds of jobs created even during construction of these hotels, and the many more jobs that will be created when in operation. Already, Jungle Bay opened with 62 employees and will increase to 150 by the time they are fully operational. The Kempinski, scheduled to open in October, will commence with 175 employees and grow to 300 by the time they are fully operational. But not only will direct jobs be created, but opportunities for entrepreneurs to provide quality goods and services to the hotel and to the guests that will be arriving on island. The people of Portsmouth, the entire North and the wider Dominica, the people of Peebush, Vieques, Penville, will significantly benefit from an increased economic activities. We speak of the vendors, the fisher folk, tour guides, tour operators, farmers, service providers, and restaurateurs. I am sure the enterprising people of Peebush, my community, very progressive people, will take full advantage of these developments of the hotels that are being established, just like they did for the Ross University of medicine. And I'm sure the people of the North are happy and they welcome the Dominica University of Medicine and Science, soon to be opened in Picard, Portsmouth. And that's what you refer to a university that will provide livelihoods and economic growth for the country. You refer to it as DOMS. The finger is pointing back at you, I guess. Madam Speaker, the opposition says nothing is happening. Madam Speaker, these developments are very visible for all to see. And unless the opposition, these people are walking with their eyes closed. Madam Speaker, you cannot hide a hotel. You cannot hide the major apartment buildings that are in Bellevue or in Casibros. But Madam Speaker, I think they wish they could get probably the largest tarpaulin available to cover it and put it out of sight. But it is real. It is reality. They wish they could have this thing out of sight. But all they succeed in doing, Madam Speaker, is to lose their credibility. For who, any conscious person, who will ever believe them when it is right there for all to see? We also have in the budget the digital transformation project that's being led under the Ministry of ICT. And Madam Speaker, innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship, they go hand in hand, especially in today's world of added value products and services. So, Madam Speaker, the subcomponent of the project to be implemented by the Ministry of Information Science, Telecommunication and Technology is timely, especially in today's digital world. We look forward to the enhancement of necessary skills and know-how that will spur innovation through digital transformation to result in new enterprises, business expansion, job creation, strengthening and building business networks and connectivity, better ways of promoting, marketing, processing transaction, and increasing revenue for the business sector. Madam Speaker, skills certification is also very fundamental to advancing development of the human capital and getting our people to be more competitive. Imagine a carpenter, a plumber, a contractor, a tailor, able to produce his certificate, not only here in Dominica, but anywhere within CARICOM, to be able to compete, to get a contract, to gain employment and income. Imagine the sense of pride and accomplishment that our people will feel. Madam Speaker, this is important to creating new jobs and businesses even beyond our shores. We speak of the Hospitality Institute as well. Madam Speaker, it is yet another critical provision in the budget, another splendid initiative by this Labour Party government who cares, and this is the Hospitality Institute. Again, this will be a necessary vehicle to ensuring quality services to support enterprises in tourism and related activities, as well as services in general in the public and private sector. It will help to create the required 5-star mindset to ensure an enabling environment and sustainability of our hotel development and other developments in the country. Madam Speaker, yet another important initiative is the container port that will support private sector and enterprise. Madam Speaker, we all experienced the inadequacy of our port post-Hurricane Maria and the inhibiting factors on the business community, trade and distribution of goods. This highlighted the need for a container port that will enhance capacity for distribution of goods, ease of doing business, ensure business continuity and resilience, and facilitation of trade and commerce. A major port will also support the current development thrust in housing, in hotel development, in the international airport, and emerging businesses. We also have housing and construction. Madam Speaker, there is definitely a boom in the construction industry in and which is expected to be sustained over a period of time with our government construction of 5,000 homes and the proposed initiative for the Dominica Social Security to implement a special housing project, targeting the middle income and those in the diaspora. The construction industry and the extensive activities today have created employment for many and has opened doors for enterprising individuals, new businesses, and private sector expansion. For example, we have the Do It Center, a new company offering hardware and building materials. We have VAMA, and we also have the upcoming establishment of the manufacturing company for prefab concrete. I commend also a young man, Curvis Gage, a young entrepreneur in my constituency, a graduate, who has formed his own company and is doing well, taking advantage of the opportunities in the industry. Madam Speaker, I know there are other young Dominicans benefiting, and I encourage all to take full advantage, to maximize their potential, and to take full advantage, as I said, of the various initiatives. In fact, almost if I look at the budget, all of the provisions in the budget, almost everyone has implications for development of enterprise and jobs in Dominica. We talk of the cruise village, we talk of the international airport, we talk of geothermal development for more affordable energy and potential for export in the future. We talk of education and how it seeks to build the necessary human capital for growth and businesses in Dominica. Madam Speaker, under the leadership of our visionary Prime Minister, we are well on our way. We are on a mission to get in Dominica to be climate resilient towards a new, modern, and transformed Dominica. But we each have an important role to play, and the Ministry of Commerce continues to play its role. The Ministry of Commerce continues to provide quality technical assistance to include advisory, advocacy, hand-holding, and business formalization services, as well as grant funding assistance to new and existing micro, small, and medium enterprises. This is all geared at increasing domestic production, export readiness, employment creation, poverty reduction, and rural enterprise development. This year, 346 MSMEs across Dominica received assistance. These people, these companies, they are involved in fishing, they are involved in poultry, food and beverage, retail services, manufacturing and agro-processing, arts and craft, construction, auto repair, landscaping, administrative services, cosmetology, and hair care services. Of the 346 MSMEs, 28 were new businesses formed, while 318 were existing and fully functional prior to Hurricane Maria, but required some financial assistance to renovate, purchase new equipment, tools, appliances, supplies, and stock to either reopen their businesses or to function to full capacity. The average number of jobs created was 692 based on each business creating one job for himself or herself, the engagement of one other person. A few were also able to create employment for 4 to 6 persons. The ministry continued working with a number of rural enterprises who started before Hurricane Maria and needed our continued support. A total of 74 beneficiaries are involved in the Rural Business Enterprise Initiatives. These include, among others, the Coliho Fishing Group, the Tantan Development Committee, the Fishing Enterprise of the Eastern District in Cassibus, Greenwich Enterprise in Newfoundland Grand Fond, Bee Masters involving honey production in Rivière Syriac, the St. Joseph Multipurpose Cooperative with a focus on fishing, net mending, and boat building, the Southeast Women Organic Farming Enterprise, and a few others as well. We will continue to work with them, these rural enterprises, in the new financial year. We were also involved in training, in business skills training. Workshops were held. A first workshop targeting all of those involved in the rural enterprises. 27, well, not all of those, but those involved in the East. 27 individuals from the Southeast participated, and areas such as business management, human resource management, costing and pricing, record keeping, marketing, and business plan preparation were some of the focus areas. A two-day workshop was also held with a group of 5 young people in Coliho, that is the Coliho Fishing Group. The Ministry of Commerce also collaborated with the Ministry of Tourism, Discover Dominica Authority, CREED, to host a specialized resiliency training for 92 small businesses in the north as we prepared them for the 5-star hotels that are coming on stream. They were exposed to focus areas such as delivering quality services, delivery and one-day delivering quality services, formalization of businesses, accountancy, supply chain management, risk management, and other areas that will get them to really have a 5-star mindset as we seek to improve our services in Dominica. We continued with our manufacturing program. As we know, there is a credit facility at the Aid Bank, and a number of small agro-processors were able to access this credit facility. 10 were successful in accessing funds for this credit facility, the manufacturing credit facility, to a tune of $484,550. As you would have heard, the Prime Minister in his budget address also said that consideration will be given to a request by the Dominica Manufacturing Association for the review of the terms and conditions of the special loan facility at the Aid Bank in the hope of improving access. Madam Speaker, we have a number of entrepreneurs, mainly young people, who thrive with the support from the government. They have been successful in their enterprises. Some of these people I could mention as Linvo Ambo of Choco Dominic, Dionic Edwards, involved in concrete pavers and doing very well. And Dionic is from Paybush. Glenworth Cyril, the cassava man from Calibishi. Gracer John, Big G's Pepper Sauce. Glenford Roll, Tony Sponge. Easy Side Cassava Delicacies, a group of young women involved in producing cassava in very creative ways as snacks. The Layu Park Nature Farms involved in moringa products. Kamasha Sylvester, Taste of Eden, again from my constituency. So these are just a few that I've mentioned, and especially young people more so involved in agro-processing that have been doing very well with our support. And some of these agro-processors, this next month, August 1st. So this very month, some of these agro-processors mentioned will be going to China for a month training in agro-processing to enhance their products. We thank the People's Republic of China and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for providing this opportunity to our people. For the financial year 2019-2020, the Ministry of Commerce, Enterprise and Small Business Development will receive $5 million in capital expenditure as identified in the budget for the continuation of its small business development program, and EC 500,000 for the continuation of rural enterprise development. We will promote the demand for locally produced goods and services outlets. We will be working with the DMA to establish at least one outlet for the promotion of sale and local products. We will promote the demand for locally produced goods and services in that way. There was a one-stop shop that was doing very well in bringing all or many of our local products together that tourists and other visiting Dominicans would go to, a one-stop shop, and it succeeded in really promoting and marketing our local supplies. So that we see that as very important. The Ministry of Commerce, Enterprise and Small Business Development will also continue with the Bureau of Standards. We will target at least 10 agro-processors so that the Bureau of Standards will work with these agro-processors to acquire the required product and services standards, quality and safety, and to become compliant with the basic standards that govern the trade. We will also embark on a series of outreach and public awareness programs. In the new financial year as well, we will be introducing the Small Business Development Center, a specialized business mechanism with physical space, inclusive of computer workstation, IT assistance, from which small business owners and entrepreneurs can visit to obtain an array of resources and services, business registration assistance. And we are happy to report that last year was the year that the intellectual property rights registered the most new businesses. We will also assist in business plan preparation, business card design and printing, and e-marketing. We are also working with the CREED person, someone in CREED, the business advisor and economic growth lead in the office of CREED, to help us build the capacity of our MSMEs. Our entrepreneurship program is expected to take full effect in this year. Last year we introduced it in the budget, and this year it will take full effect as we seek to get young people, especially university graduates returning home from study with highly specialized skill sets and waiting to start up their own businesses, the DYBT entrepreneurs who show signs of business success and in having a viable business enterprise, the youth entrepreneurs in communities around the island, and especially those who will provide goods and services to the new hotel developments. The Business Acceleration Program that we've been speaking about, initiative for Dominica, BOSID, will roll out. This will target entrepreneurs with potential to expand production, with those who can become export ready, with those who want to increase their supply to meet demands in niche markets, both locally and in the region, and those who are able to create additional employment. These are the people who will be targeted for up to 100,000 financial package support from the Ministry of Commerce, from the government, and with hand-holding, with business counseling, with technical support to really drive these businesses and ensure they make a difference in their own businesses, in their lives, and that of others. Madam Speaker, in terms of my constituency, I would want to say how happy we are. In fact, first of all, the people of Teplat and Belmanier are very happy, and all the road users, and not only Belmanier and Pebouche, but all of those within the neighboring villages who use the Teplat to Belmanier road, who use Blenheim, the Sus to Olivier roads, for they are now driving on newly resurfaced roads. And I would like to thank the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Public Works for this initiative, because people say we feel like we are on a airstrip, we feel like we are on a highway. But I would also like to caution drivers against speeding and reckless driving, and to encourage them to regard safety on the road. Madam Speaker, just below $1 million was spent to repair the Blenheim and Ansime bridges. These bridges should have been established probably over a century ago and were very old, and they were falling apart. And urgent action had to be taken to address this. But it cost, one was in the region of $300,000 plus, and the other $600 plus. Almost $1 million was spent to make sure that these bridges were safe. Attention is also being given to the Hampstead Bridge as a matter of urgency. Madam Speaker, I continue to support the various sports clubs within my constituency, support sporting activities through provision of uniform gears, and work on the various sporting facilities to best benefit especially the young people of the constituency. In Pebush, almost every young man plays basketball. So you would know how important it is and how happy these young people are for the recently resurfaced and modernized Pebush hard courts and installation of backboards, repair, and we are also about to repair the fencing with the basketball club, and we'll seek resources for the installation of lights. We have purchased lights as well for the Benz hard court, and we'll be working with the basketball club of Benz towards repairing and resurfacing the hard court. We are also pursuing lighting of the Ansime and Kalibishi playing fields. Each community resource center and surroundings will also benefit through DALCA from solar lighting, and we'll also light up the grounds of the various basketball courts within vicinity. The Kalibishi community has benefited from two important projects geared at reduced vulnerability for the community and for households. Madam Speaker, the Kalibishi River Wall project and the Kalibishi Defense Wall are well on their way to completion. Works are ongoing, and as I said, they are well on their way to completion. The Kalibishi Sea Defense Wall is at a cost of $6 million. This was a project that we had to implement as a matter of urgency to ensure that we secure this area. And the Kalibishi people have, they continue every day, they express thanks for these two projects. Regarding the river wall, however, there has been expressed concern for those within the vicinity of the river wall, and they have asked for possible extension because they are concerned that they can still be vulnerable. So this is something that we will take up. We will further discuss with a view to addressing the issue. Upcoming, we will also have, we have an area in Belmanier that is very vulnerable, and the Ministry of Public Works have been working feverishly with me to address this issue. So the Belmanier wall should be coming on stream very soon. As you note, there are 6 schools that the People's Republic of China has committed to build, to construct on behalf of the government. The Kalibishi Primary School is one of the 6 schools to be built. And this is a project that the community has been awaiting for some time. I would like to thank them for their patience. But I know they are waiting because they have confidence in this government that when we deliver something that they can be very proud of. So I know they do not mind waiting, and I know they have this confidence that they are going to get a very proper and effective school. So, Madam Speaker, again, the community of my constituency will also be a beneficiary for the Marigot new hospital that will definitely be constructed. The Marigot new hospital will definitely be constructed. We are a government. We know that when the Prime Minister makes a commitment, he lives up to that commitment. And the government of Dominica will deliver a Marigot hospital that we all will be proud of. We in the constituency of Pebush, it serves Kalibishi, and we will be proud of it. And I welcome this initiative, and I also applaud the decision of the government to try to fast-track this project and to ensure that we fund it ourselves, since the prior arrangements was taking too long. So soon from now, we expect to see this new hospital. Madam Speaker, we also note in this project that in this budget that the road from Portsmouth to Pegua will be rehabilitated. As you would note, that I mentioned already 3 bridges that needed urgent attention. So this road has been in its existence for a number of years. It has lasted very long. It had been one of the best roads before. It was resurfaced since Sintra days after Hurricane David. So now this project is very timely, and not only will there be resurfacing, but the infrastructure, the bridges will be addressed, the road will be realigned. So we are waiting for an improved and enhanced Portsmouth to Pegua road. Under the Community Enhancement Project, we will seek to do a number of roads. Prior to Hurricane Maria, we had done several roads under the Community Enhancement Project to the tune of $901,746. We will continue to work through this Community Enhancement Project that will be relaunched to continue work on a number of roads. That will include the Quet Coco Phase 2, Point Baptist Beach Road, John Baptist Ridge Road, Middle Ridge, Farm Access Road in Kalibishi. I know I implore the farmers who work within or who work along the Middle Ridge Farm Access Road in Kalibishi. This was a road under the BAM project, but it will be addressed through the Community and Enhancement Project. We will also seek to address some of the drainage problems in Anzimbe, such as Mobati, Point Baptist, Wome, and Mopak. We will also seek to construct or resurface Ben Simon Road and the road to Shodia Pool as well. In terms of community tourism, provision has also been made in the, for site enhancement under the Ministry of Tourism and Culture. The Pebush constituency will benefit from this project, and Madam Speaker, this will include the Hampstead Benz Heritage Project, rehabilitation of the Old Methodist Church as a tourist site to host weddings, signage and restoration of the water mill, an allocation of $350,000. The Shodia Pool site enhancements, and this involves the construction of gazebo and trails, and an allocation of $100,000 has been made, and as well as the Kalibishi, Red Rock. An allocation has also been made for site development. I express gratitude to the Minister of Commerce for his work in community tourism. The Ministry of Tourism has been working very well with the community tourism groups in my area. And I also thank the community tourism groups of Kalibishi and of Benz, Anzimbi, Hampstead. In terms of housing, as we know, we can say, and as it is said before, we are the government of housing, and our housing interventions have benefited families and communities across the entire country. In this regard, we have been able to raise the quality of life of people, not only post-Hurricane Maria, but our housing program was prior to Hurricane Maria. Hurricane Maria result and Tropical Storm Dominica just increased the amount of work that we had to do. But I think, or I believe, based on what we've seen, a number of people now live in improved homes in Dominica, in homes that were better than what they lived in before Tropical Storm Dominica and before Hurricane Maria. And I'm sure, as we go around the country, we hear of the satisfaction expressed by all the beneficiaries of this home who are able, and all of those who we have helped to restore, to get back a roof, a proper roof and an improved roof over their head. That is the work of the Dominica Labour Party. And in terms of housing, or these housing interventions, the Pebush constituency has benefited post-Hurricane Maria to the tune of $3.8 million, which has been disbursed for roof repairs, for home repairs, and for even construction of new homes or reconstruction of homes. Just in the Pebush community alone, with government assistance, we were able to cover 79 roofs, and similar figures for Kalibishi. We built or constructed over 20 homes, even when we have not fully launched our new home program. I want to urge constituents to be patient, and you will have your fair share of the government's new home programs as soon as we have the available lands. The Prime Minister always have you in mind. The Prime Minister always mentioned that we need to get going with homes in the Pebush constituency. But we have the challenge of getting the land, and we are working towards it. He has already given his commitments. So wait, be patient, and you too will be recipients of some very lovely homes, because this is the work of a party that cares for you. I take the opportunity to thank the hardworking coordinating and implementation team for the housing projects, and the various builders and contractors who have helped us to realize the success of the housing projects so far. One of the frequent spoken about projects in my constituency is the Anzime Jetty, and the Prime Minister has given directives to a contractor to do the assessment, to do the preparatory work, to do the visits. So the people of Anzime, I know you're concerned, but this is a commitment that has been made by the Prime Minister that you will indeed have your jetty. It is the Anzime Jetty. It is very important not only for the people of Anzime, but other neighboring communities who trade with Marigaland. So it is a very frequently used area, a very frequently used port, and the intention is to ensure we have this proper jetty that serves people and stimulates growth in the area, stimulates trade, stimulate sale of goods and services and stimulate movement between Marygaland and Dominica. And after Hurricane Maria, we saw the significance of this port because Marygaland was just like Roseau for the people of the north. Instead of coming to Roseau, the people would go to Marygaland to shop. In one day, you go to Marygaland and you come back. Yes, you go in the morning and you come back in the afternoon. And that is how we, even probably when you all were not eating frozen, was chicken and turkey was not available to those of you in Roseau and in the south and other parts. Every weekend we would have our meat stuff, frozen meat stuff, because Marygaland was just like Roseau. Yep. So it's a very important port for us, and we are happy that the Prime Minister has made that commitment. I also spoke of the Belmania Wall, and another important project coming on stream is the Anzime Health Center. The Anzime Health Center is one of the 12 health centers to be built. And for some times, the Anzime Health Center had to be shut down upon advice that it was not fit, it was not healthy for people being there. So services has to be accessed in Portsmouth. But the Anzime Health Center is going to be built in this new financial year. So Anzime people, you just think, just envisage, you have the improved port, the jetty, you have improved bayside, you have the lighting of the Anzime playing field, and a new health center, all within vicinity of each other. Just think of how this will look and how it is going to benefit you. So we are working for the people of the Pebush constituency and all constituencies in Dominica. You would realize that the budget provisions and when the other ministers talk, we are touching, as we usually do, all communities in this country. So as Benson Sime Pebush, Kalibishi develop, so does Vikas Penville, Thibault, so Portsmouth develops. And if Portsmouth develops, it also provides opportunities for economic activities for all the neighboring communities. Then you have the proposed international airport. So we are growing together. This is a government that is used to delivering things that infrastructure and things that we can be very, very proud of. We are a government that delivers beautiful things with realistic time, in realistic time, and that continues to serve our people. We are not, and we have never been the groundbreaking UWP, or we have never been like the groundbreaking UWP party government. Groundbreaking, but we deliver. When we commit, we deliver, and we open new stuff, just like we will be reopening the first wing, the first phase of the new National Hospital, just like we opened over a decade ago, the stadium. We are used to delivering, and we are used to delivering good things, and what we are and all Dominicans are very, very proud of. So you probably need to take a little time one day and speak the truth and say that this is a government that works, and that is why you have been out in the wilderness for a very long time, and you might be out in the wilderness for a very long time still. As we will be returned to office, you will be out in the wilderness for a very long time, and we will be returned to office because every Dominican knows that this is a highly performing government, and we will continue to perform and deliver to the people. And we will be returned to office whenever the bell is rung. The Dominican Labour Party will return to office. The government that cares, the government that loves people, the government that has the vision, the government that is hardworking. We, the Labour Party government, will return to continue to serve the people while you continue as naysayers to speak innuendos, assumptions, negativism, and cannot see anything that is bright, and to be thankful for the government and to be thankful to God that for all that he has blessed us with. So, Madam Speaker, this budget has made so many people happy. The teachers are happy, the nurses are happy, the mothers who are pregnant are happy, the communities are happy, all the people who are going to be employed in the various hotels are happy. Dominicans are happy with the Dominica Labour Party and with the 2019-2020 budget. So in this regard, having said this, there is no reason for anybody not to support this budget. And I too, with pride and confidence, support the 2019-2020 budget.
Madam Speaker, permit me to join my other colleagues and the rest of Dominica in celebrating this budget as delivered by the Honorable Prime Minister, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we celebrate as we look at the birth of a new Dominica. This is what the budget is guiding us to, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I listened carefully to the presentation of the Honorable Prime Minister 2 days ago on the 2019 to 2020 estimate of expenditure. And Madam Speaker, I saw in this budget, Madam Speaker, an all-inclusive package. Madam Speaker, on the contrary, I almost fall asleep, Madam Speaker, honestly. I sat and I listened to the leader of the opposition, Madam Speaker, presenting his rebuttal. And Madam Speaker, I saw in the presentation a leader of the opposition who lacks vision. He lacks objectivity, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with no enthusiasm, not able to convince the public of what he was presenting. Madam Speaker, he has not told the Dominican public what is he going to do, where is he going to do it, when is he going to do it. I'm not sure when, because he's not going to win the next general election, for sure. He has not told us how he's going to do it, if perchance, which is not a reality. Madam Speaker, at least, if you are rebutting to the budget, you have the estimates in your hand, Madam Speaker, long before you come and sit here. Madam Speaker, at least go through it. Look at the money that you're hoping that will leave there for you. Look at it. Go through it and say, look, the Prime Minister is saying in this ministry he's going to do X, and that is the money that he has appropriated for that. Madam Speaker, you can come out there and say, all right, having looked at it, because he doesn't know where, he hasn't got anywhere he can get money to lead that country forward. So the plan he has, he's coming in hoping that we leave everything there for him. Bro, you make a mistake. Dream, rise again. You dream in. Madam Speaker, at least say out of that budget that I can now look at on the Ministry of Constituency Empowerment. You may reconfigure it if you wish to. But at least I can take that money and we will redirect it and we will do X, Y, Z. Madam Speaker, you go under Public Works and you say, you see that money that is there, we will do X, Y, Z. But Madam Speaker, he has not told the people of Dominica at all How, where, when, what. Madam Speaker, we were all blank at the end of his presentation. Chapter and book. We were all blank at the end of his presentation. So, Madam Speaker, I am not sure. That was his final opportunity, Madam Speaker, before the general election, you know. That was his final opportunity before the next general election to tell the public why. Oh, sorry, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this was his final opportunity before the budget to tell the people, to convince the people of Dominica why they should even think of voting for him. Why? And the people of Dominica are now blank and they are lost. And Madam Speaker, he has just nailed the final nail in his coffin, his political coffin, Madam Speaker. So, farewell, bye-bye. Let us move. Madam Speaker, let me congratulate you, Madam Speaker, on holding the position as Speaker of the House for 20 years, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I really, really admire your comportment, the way you manage the affairs of the House of Assembly. As a woman, I am proud of your achievement. I have learned quite a bit from working with you, very open and willing to help us to learn as parliamentarians. And I hope, Madam Speaker, that you continue in that vein, and anybody to succeed you will learn from you. You are really a mentor to somebody sitting at that table, Madam Speaker. So congratulations and best wishes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I said already, Madam Speaker, this budget is an all-inclusive and a practical plan for the continued development of this country and deserves nothing less than my full support. Madam Speaker, there is a tendency sometimes for us to forget. I heard members of the opposition talking about we make reference to Hurricane Maria. Madam Speaker, people of Dominica are still making reference to Hurricane David. That was not as bad as Maria was. We are still making reference to David that did not impact us as much as Maria. Madam Speaker, Maria was just less than 2 years ago. And this impacted, that hurricane impacted every aspect of our development. Every aspect of our development. And Madam Speaker, I remember sitting in cabinet and coming to Parliament with our plans to move Dominica the year of 2017, our budget. And we were all excited and all enthusiastic as to how we're going to move forward. We had seen the new Dominica by then. And Madam Speaker, here comes David and disrupted all of that. Maria, sorry, and disrupted all of that, Madam Speaker. Yet you do not want us to make reference to it. But Madam Speaker, that is our landmark. And we thank God. We thank God for his mercies. We thank God for his grace. And we thank him for putting Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit at the helm of the country when we were going through that, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, without Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit at the helm of the country at the time, God forbid, I do not want to talk about it, what would have happened? The opposition supporters said, if it was there, we dead, you know. We dead. Yes, Madam Speaker. But thank God, God is always alive and his eyes are always on us in Dominica. And we thank him for that. Madam Speaker, I need us to, as I said, we tend to forget, but I need Dominicans to think back. Let us look back at the morning of the 19th of September. Madam Speaker, when we woke up and we look at our own homes, Madam Speaker, we look at our neighborhood. Madam Speaker, we looked at our community and we looked at the nation. Madam Speaker, we had to be resilient. Other than that, I am not sure. And Madam Speaker, if we recognize, you realize the amount of deaths we had post-Maria? Madam Speaker, some people could not manage it. You had to be strong to move forward. And we on that side, Madam Speaker, we remain resilient, Madam Speaker, and that did not deter us. Madam Speaker, from day one, we kept running. We moved and left our homes, Madam Speaker, and we were out there. Madam Speaker, I swept my house at 1 o'clock in the morning, so that by 5 o'clock, I was on the road with the grande people, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, and we run until, and we will continue to run for the people of Dominica and make sure that we can bring them to the level that they're supposed to be. I do not want us to forget those days. Madam Speaker, the people of Dominica must remember clearly those days, where we were. Madam Speaker, they have reason to forget, you know. I do not blame them totally. They have reason to forget. Because, Madam Speaker, the way we have gone back with the reconstruction of this country, Madam Speaker, sometimes you look around and you wonder, is that really the country that was devastated by that kind of yeah, Madam Speaker, I drive through the West Coast, and I look at Maho, and I look at Kenfin, and I look at the hills, and I look at the houses, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, sometimes I go to Grand Fond, La Plaine, those areas, and I remember the first time I went into Grand Fond. Madam Speaker, I was depressed. Madam Speaker, I could not, when I went into La Plaine, I said to Honorable Saint-Jean, no, I couldn't find one house with a roof in La Plaine. Madam Speaker, Grand Fond was just the same, Grand Fond, Montgomery, Rivière-Syrique. I went there to give support, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, you move into those communities. Yes, we have some people who are we still have to work with. But Madam Speaker, some people will forget what it looked like on the morning of the 19th, because we have done so well. After all, Madam Speaker, we must not forget those things. We must not forget. Madam Speaker, in all of that, I want to tell the people of Dominica, we have to be thankful and we have to be grateful to God. And He does not like ungratefulness, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as we look at the budget presented by the Honorable Prime Minister, Madam Speaker, and I looked at my own ministry, I will attempt, Madam Speaker, briefly to look at some of the developments that took place over the period gone, and then we will project into the new financial year. What is our plan for the new financial year, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Constituency Empowerment, and also with responsibility for postal services, Madam Speaker, is well poised, Madam Speaker, to continue. We have gone through the budget, we are familiar with what is there, and we are well poised, ready to move forward, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, before I go further, I know sometimes some people tend to look at the glass half empty, but not look at it half full, Madam Speaker. And I need to remind us that sometimes we set our own plan, our individual plans, our family plans, whatever plan we have. And sometimes in our life, certain things come up, little adversities, little challenges, and Madam Speaker, we have to revisit the plan. And sometimes, you may not, but we're hoping to achieve at least more than half of what we have set before us. And so, having said that, Madam Speaker, we move forward. The ministry responsible for youth, the department responsible for youth under the ministry, Madam Speaker, is charged with the responsibility to provide efficient and effective services geared toward empowering our Dominican youth, all in an effort to get them to contribute to the development of this country and of themselves. Madam Speaker, the department, constituency empowerment within the ministry, continues to provide the necessary support and resources required by constituents to allow them to bridge the economic gap created post-Maria, Madam Speaker. The General Post Office, the postal services within the ministry, Madam Speaker, although most of our structures were severely damaged, Madam Speaker, with rehabilitation in most areas, we continue our intervention to ensure that government is back on track to offering efficient, reliable, and economic postal services to the people of Dominica. Madam Speaker, as we look at the Youth Development Division and the programs that we offer, but I sometimes like to deviate from just within my ministry, because youth, as I always say, is encompassed or covered under many other ministries: small business, education, social programs, IT, agriculture, just name it, Madam Speaker. Youth is covered under all of that. And if we were to aggregate all of that, Madam Speaker, we would understand the amount of money that is used to empower and the programs that are there to empower our young people. But within my ministry, Madam Speaker, in 2018, we saw 154 young people graduating from youth skills training. And Madam Speaker, just yesterday afternoon, when the Honorable Prime Minister, myself, a few of us were out, we attended a graduation ceremony again of the Youth Skills Training Program, where we had 92 young people graduating. And Madam Speaker, the modules that are offered at the Youth Skills Training Program includes, but not limited to, Madam Speaker, computer literacy, computer maintenance, electrical wiring, cosmetology, auto body repairs, small engine repairs, sewing, agriculture, leather craft at the state prison, woodwork, plumbing, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we offer all of those modules to ensure that we can respond to the needs of the country, Madam Speaker. Because these things are not done by Kivai. We do our assessment, Madam Speaker, identify the needs at the time, and put the module to meet the needs of the country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in addition to these modules, we offer during the program, the trainees also receive other skills, social skills. We have business awareness, office etiquette, health and family life, empowering forum, remedial literacy and numeracy. Madam Speaker, all of that is to ensure that we can look at the holistic development of the young people. It is all well and good to give them a skill, Madam Speaker, but then you have to give them the other skills that is required to bring that kind of personality to their workplace, Madam Speaker. And so, Madam Speaker, we continue to do that through the Youth Development Division. But not just that, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, no. We offer these students, we offer the trainees, Mr. Speaker, job attachments. So they go out, the youth division, explore areas where these young people can be placed based on the skill that they were taught. And we place them there, Madam Speaker, after which some of them gain full employment. For example, the year under review, we had 40% of our trainees receiving placements, Mr. Speaker, and 25% of that were retained in the area where they were trained. And Mr. Speaker, I listened, yesterday we were at the graduation ceremony. Well, I attend it every year, and I am so impressed with the young people and the way they present themselves. They gave testimonies, Mr. Speaker, of their involvement. And I listened to this young lady from St. Joseph yesterday who said how much she had to sacrifice, and serious sacrifice. Somebody who just had a baby, has a family, has her own challenges, and sacrificed, made time soon after she had the baby. And she went on her attachment. And Mr. Speaker, it was almost emotional to listen to the young people express their gratitude to the government of Dominica for the Youth Skills Training Program, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in December of 2018, that's last year, during this year under review, we had 44 young people who graduated from the Youth Division multidisciplinary leadership training, and that is critical. We need to nurture and develop our leaders from that cadre of young people, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we also saw 31 of them graduating in basic counseling. All of these things are very, very critical to youth development, because very often we know we have to use the young people sometimes to do peer counseling, to support and to give guidance to their peers, Mr. Speaker. And so we cannot leave them floating. Mr. Speaker, there's a lot to be done with you, and there's a lot going on for the young people, Mr. Speaker, while some people will try to make them believe that nothing is happening for them. What is important, Mr. Speaker, is all of that, is are our young people availing themselves to those opportunities? And are they taking advantage of those opportunities? But I can say to you, those who attend those courses, by the time they present to you, you can see they are transformed, they are different, and they wish they could continue. And yesterday we got an opportunity to inform them of the continued program that was offered in the budget, Mr. Speaker, so at least they can avail themselves, so they can get a certificate that will allow them to work in the OECS, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Youth Division is just a stepping stone for our young people to begin and to develop themselves further. Mr. Speaker, volunteerism in the country is at its lowest. Nobody wants to do anything for free. But Mr. Speaker, this country belongs to us. And as I said to the young people, it belongs to all of them. They are the ones, they're working now for their future. And Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I'm delighted to know that our young people engage themselves in volunteerism programs. Every summer, the Youth Division works with the State College to get the students at the State College to work with younger students from the secondary school in volunteerism program with the guidance of the Youth Division, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, last year they collaborated with the Ministry of Environment, Climate Resilience, Disaster Management and Urban Renewal through the Forestry Division. And this year they will be again working with the Forestry Division, where they will be working on plant. Their theme for this year is plant a tree, safeguarding shelter, water, and food security through youth volunteerism. They are working with us to ensure that we can promote and protect that environment in which we live and in which they continue to live, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, through those programs, last term under review, we empowered over 218 young volunteers to better appreciate and contribute to climate resilience. We empowered the youth to contribute to the promotion of healthy environments. So when they leave the program and they go back to their community, we're expecting them to go back there and work in promoting that healthy environment and to plant their trees to make sure that we can safeguard our watersheds and protect our food and everything like that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this program also assists the youth in restoration of our eco sites, because they went out and they cleaned the National Trail, they organized, cleaned the parks, and they went island-wide to do that kind of project, Mr. Speaker. We engaged the youth in self-development and community rehabilitation. They were engaged in construction, in constructing dwelling houses for some families who were economically challenged, who probably could not come up with the money to pay labor. So we used them during that time, Madam Speaker. They were engaged in doing that kind of thing. They did not have money. They did not have to be in power to do that. They are nowhere in the political realm. And they could go out there and volunteer to rebuild houses, Mr. Speaker. Tell me why the opposition cannot do it, Mr. Speaker. If they really can concern about our citizens, tell me why. If the young people can go out there and volunteer, tell me why they have been paid and they cannot go out and do something, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we help them to harness their creative energy, because our young people have energy. They have. And so we have to help them to harness that energy towards the preservation of the environment and to cultivate in the youth the art of critical thinking. Help them to be able to think, to be able to discern, and to be able to act on positive things, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, all of this falls under the voluntarism program through the youth division. The youth division also is responsible for 4-H club formation, promotion, and sustenance. We have at the present 53 4-H clubs in primary schools, 53 of them, and 10 secondary to tertiary to the college of them. So we have a total of 63 4-H clubs across the island. And the main focus of the 4-H club, Mr. Speaker, is to promote agriculture, to encourage our young people to plant what is required for our consumption, and to encourage them to consume what we plant, Mr. Speaker. And we have seen them do well even at our 4-H clubs, do well at regional level at the competitions that are organized in the region. Mr. Speaker, we also have the Youth Entrepreneurship and Employment Program through the Dominica Youth Business Trust. I heard you spoke yesterday about the branch, what you're trying to organize in Grand Bay, which is splendid, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we do training on the Dominica Youth Business Trust. We provide them with the grants. We should be familiar with it because I have said it in this honorable house. Job attachments and mentorship, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that when we start with them, we carry them through and we continue to work with them to ensure that they do not fall along the way. That is not the objective, is to make sure that they can become self-sufficient and they can continue their business, expand their business, employ other people, and they can now be independent on their own. Madam Speaker, that is the objective or the goal of the Youth Business Trust. The Dominica Youth Business Trust also on an annual basis hosts the Global Entrepreneurship Week. Every year we do that in the month of November. We saw the graduation of our awards. We saw graduation and award ceremony for all those who graduated from the Dominica Youth Business Trust. Dominica Youth Business Trust also organized Expo, so you can come in and see the talent of the young people. It's not good to light the lamp and put it under the bushel. You have to expose it for people to see. So you can come out when they do it. They normally do it under the ministry, government headquarters, most times. So they expose their talents, Mr. Speaker. And it's amazing to see the things that our young people can do through these programs. Let us promote those things instead of sitting and crying that nothing is happening to our young people. There's a lot going for them, and they are taking advantage. And don't believe you're going to fool them with all of the negative statements that you all make, that there is nothing for young people, nothing is happening with young people. They are aware of it, and they tell you they are aware of it. They see it on Facebook, their friends tell them, they see it on the media. They are familiar with the programs. So, Mr. Speaker, this is the program for the youth division in the past year. Mr. Speaker, with sports division, that's another area where we have a lot of talk and a lot of talk and a lot of talk. That's fine, that's normal, that's healthy, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we continue to place emphasis on providing quality, appropriate and resilient facilities, programs and services in sports, physical education and recreation in an effort to promote healthy and active lifestyle. And Mr. Speaker, we know the impact and how sports can impact many things in our country. Many, many things. The way we behave, our attitude, or how we deal with our whole social skills, tolerance, patience, respect, all of that. We might think it's just taking a ball and throw it, but there's a lot of things we can cultivate from just our engagement in sports, Mr. Speaker. But importantly is the impact it can have on our budget for health because of the prevalence of chronic non-communicable diseases as a result of our obesity, our inactivity, the things that we eat, those kinds of things. And so we must engage. We may not get into sports because we want to become an elite athlete, but we may go into physical activities because we want to remain healthy. We want to be strong, and So there are many reasons why we get engaged. And so it is opened to all and sundry, at all age. Mr. Speaker, during the period under review, we saw we were able to execute 90% of our planned programs. We saw the staging of the track and field preliminaries, which form part of our independence celebration on an annual basis. We saw the Dominica participating in the Windward Island under-15 school cricket tournament in St. Lucia. Primary schools, we normally have mini basketball, football, cricket. We have the school caravan that goes out there at the schools to help in various sporting disciplines. The secondary school, they normally engage in cricket, football, netball, volleyball, track and field, beach volleyball. We also saw our participation in the Windward Island School Games in St. Lucia last year. This year, Mr. Speaker, as we speak, the track and field aspect of the Windward Island School Games is now taking place at the Windsor Park Stadium. They've been here since weekend, and there's been a series of activities. We've been using the facility in Portsmouth. Most of the games have been held in Benjamin's Park, the Windsor Park Stadium, and the St. Joseph Basketball Court. And I can tell you the showing is good, the turnout is good. Dominica started well, but then we've been falling here and there. But it's sports, you know. But at least I want to commend them. I think they're doing much better than they did last year, the Dominican team. But they're out there and they're enjoying themselves, and the games are on. So if we get a break during our lunchtime, we can go in there and give a little support to them, you know, to show our presence. Yeah. We also participated in the Sir Garfield Sobers International School Cricket Festival in Barbados and the Goodwill Cricket Series in St. Lucia. And Mr. Speaker, all of those things, all of those overseas trips is financed by the government of Dominica. We must say that. We must not just sit and say nothing is happening in sports. We must say that. Probably you do not know because you don't pay attention to the developments of the country. That's fine. You know, but the people will hold you responsible at the appropriate time. So, Mr. Speaker, we do that. We send them out and we try to make them as comfortable as possible. And they're enjoying themselves. And out of that, Mr. Speaker, we are seeing our athletes. We are picking up the talents. We are identifying the talents, nurture the talents, and we are seeing our athletes excelling at regional and international level. And we will continue to give them the support, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the area of national representation, Dominica has represented this in several regional and international sporting events. Among the sporting disciplines which were responsible for flying Dominica's flag at these events were football, cricket, netball, track and field, and volleyball. So they go out there, Mr. Speaker, and they represent us. And so I also want to recognize the work of the various sporting disciplines and the associations that continue to collaborate with the Ministry of Sports in ensuring that those things happen. Dominica was successful at winning the 2018 Windward Island Senior Cricket Tournament, and we advanced to the second stage of CONCACAF inaugural Nation Cup. Dominica also placed first at the OECS leg of the Female Youth Beach Volleyball Championship, and the team subsequently advanced to the Youth Olympic in Argentina. And these were These were the highlights for Dominica for us in the past year. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, at this point I really want to commend all the associations. I want to commend the sports division for the tremendous work they continue to do, day in, day out, weekends, nighttime, any time that they have to be engaged in some sporting activities with our people, they are out, they are working. I really want to commend them, commend the various sporting association for the work that they continue to do with our athletes and to give them the support that is required. But Mr. Speaker, I was really, really delighted yesterday morning, when we had a young man who felt he wanted to meet the Prime Minister in person. That was Mr. Donaldson Mahotier. He wanted to meet the Prime Minister in person to deliver him a thank you note. This is one of our elite athletes, young uprising athletes, Mr. Speaker, who has been exemplary He had that exemplary performance at the Pan American Junior Games and Carifta Games in 2019. And he came to express his gratitude because he said if it wasn't for the opportunity that the Prime Minister gave him to represent our country, he would not have been, he was able now to secure a scholarship for the next 5 years, 4 years for himself. And Mr. Speaker, in addition to that, he was not very selfish, you know. You know, sometimes we get 2 scholarships and we give to our children and we finish with that. No, he wasn't like that. Mr. Speaker, he got his scholarship. While he was out there, he was able to secure 2 scholarships for 2 athletes in Dominica. Mr. Speaker, this is a man who is out there as an ambassador to Dominica, Mr. Speaker, and I really want to commend him. Mr. Speaker, allow me to move now to some of our projections for the new financial year. Mr. Speaker, investments will be made in the development and upgrade of infrastructure to increase the level of participation in sports and to provide avenues for hosting international competitions with a thrust towards making Dominica a sports tourism destination. That's our goal. We've started. The stadium they thought would never come through, and all of us come in the stadium. Blue, yellow, pink, purple, all of us come in the stadium and enjoy cricket. The stadium that we thought would never come through. And we are going to one day sit in the indoor sports facility and enjoy regional and international sports. We will, under the Dominica Labour Party. Be careful, under the Dominica Labour Party. The Windsor Park Sports Stadium, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we know the Windsor Park Stadium suffered tremendous damage during Maria. We had this damage to the roof, all of our roof, the media center, the players' pavilion, all the stands, all VIP boxes, our light towers, our scoreboard, a scoreboard we had just purchased, newly purchased, one of the best in the region. But that's how it is. Perimeter walls and our outfield, all of those aspects were severely affected by Maria. But, Mr. Speaker, we were not daunted, and with Prime Minister Skerrit at our helm, and with the enthusiasm and support that we give to him, we will persevere. We were able to come up last year with $6.9, almost $7 million for the first phase of rehabilitation to the stadium. And we were able to do that and be able to host World Creole Music Festival in 2018. 1 year after we were able to host World Creole Music Festival, 2018, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the ministry has secured $272,114.63 for field restoration, painting of the entire media center, the generation house, and for painting of all of the stands, and to repair all the railings in the stadium. And we want to thank the Lotteries Commission for their generous support in this regard, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this year, there is a budgeted amount of $3.3 million for the stadium. That is just part of what is required. But we will get there, Mr. Speaker. We've started well, and we will continue well. Madam Speaker, we intend to complete the outstanding repairs to the media center in this fiscal year, and to replace critical pieces of equipment like the electronic scoreboard and the field tower lights, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we also have $200,000 that was appropriated, we know, maybe 1-2 years for the gymnasium. And we will continue. We are pursuing it, and this year definitely we have all of the plans, we have the estimates ready for the construction of the gymnasium. And we will see that in this financial year, Mr. Speaker. And we also, at present, we have all of the machinery, all of the exercise machines, Mr. Speaker. We already have those equipments in the stadium given to us by the People's Republic of China, and we want to extend again our gratitude to the government and people of the People's Republic of China for helping us with the stadium and continue to be a source of strength and support to us in many of our endeavors. Mr. Speaker, construction of the multipurpose hard court at the Windsor Park Stadium. If we pass out there at the stadium, we will see work going on out there where presently they are leveling the forecourt of the Windsor Park Stadium so that we can construct there a basketball court, a multi-purpose court that will allow both netball and volleyball, and a tennis court. Mr. Speaker, this has been a cry of the people of Roseau for a very long time. And we are ensuring that this happens for them this time around. So if you pass, you will see work there. You don't have to question again. That is what is happening. And very soon we will see the completion. We have ordered the uprights and all of those things that are required to do the complete construction and ensure that this facility can be made available in the soonest possible time. And that is going to cost the government of Dominica $930,000 for those 3 courts. Mr. Speaker, we will continue with work at the Massac basketball court. The Massac basketball court, we know the parliamentary representative has been in the Ministry of, to me, I usually say he's the minister responsible for constituency empowerment. He comes there so often to make sure that his work is done, or we provide him with the finance and the support that he requires, and we move ahead with his program, Mr. Speaker. So he's been at us feverishly, and we will continue to work with him to make sure. So far we've spent in excess of $203,000 US. That is for the frames, for the galvanized, for the frames and the galvanized. We've done that, the covering and all of those things that has been completed. There was a contract, and that contract has been executed. But we will continue in the second phase. He has given and he has ensured that he got all his estimates, everything in order, and the ministry has worked with him and Public Works to ensure that everything is fine. So we have budgeted in this year's budget $1.2 million, which will see the second phase of that, which will include washroom, the foundation works, washroom, lighting, and bleachers. All designs and estimates, as I said, have been completed, and work will start earnestly the first quarter in this financial year. In fact, as soon as we are finished, I know he's going to be at the ministry's door. So we will move with him. Mr. Speaker, the National Multi-Purpose Sports Complex that we've been talking about, and we had to set aside because of Maria, understandably so. For those who do not understand, that's too bad, but understandably so. But we say to the sports people that we remain committed as a government to meeting, and as we usually say, we never say things and don't fulfill it. Some things may come up that you may have to defer, but we will fulfill it. And here we are again with it. But we've spent quite a sum of money in getting the designs and everything ready. We've spent in excess of $6 million so far to ensure that we can get everything ready. So we will see work this year. The facility will offer 3 multi-purpose courts in the interior to accommodate basketball, volleyball, and netball with seating capacity of over 3,000. We will provide retractable seats, that is the plan before us. A VIP hospitality area and press booth will be located on one of the floors. We will also have 2 tennis courts and 3 multi-purpose courts to accommodate basketball, volleyball, and netball, and seating capacity of 688. And this will be on the outside of the court because you want to ensure that you can have inside for your international games, but at least we will not deprive the public of facilities, so they will be able to use the courts on the outside. Mr. Speaker, part of that will also be an Olympic swimming pool so that we can have competitions in swimming, Mr. Speaker. And so we have, at present, over $3 million in this year's budget for that purpose. Mr. Speaker, we will continue with upgrade of our playing fields and some of our courts. We know the Juniper playing field, you did make mention of it. But we also have an additional $500,000 in this year's budget. We've spent $156,000 for the reconstruction of the pavilion within the Ministry of Constituency Empowerment, and that has been completed. We also spent in excess of $58,000 for excavation and clearing of woods. And here we are with $500,000 that will assist with drainage and the improvement, the drainage and grassing and everything to make sure that we can bring the playing field to playing condition where we can have cricket and football and all of the other sports, and we can have sports people coming up into Granby like they used to do. We have football and cricket and all of them coming into the Geneva playing field to participate in sporting activities. Mr. Speaker, we also have the Colliho playing field. I know my dear friend has been at us, and that has been her cry for a very long time. So the people of Colliho, I'm certain they are satisfied, they are happy, they've seen work started, right? So we've started carrying some of the material, the sand that's required, and topsoil so that we can continue. So this $200,000 will see the completion of their playing field so it can be put to full use by the young people of the Colliho constituency. Mr. Speaker, we also did some work in Center Granby, that is near the Dubic, just above the police station, just above the Dubic residential area, where we did quite a bit of work there. We spent over $29,000 for the installation of, we ordered the basketball and netball uprights in excess of $29,000. The other work that we did was electrical wiring. We did that, so there is already electrified. We did the construction of the drain to control the water in excess of $60,000. We also have a washroom facility for players when they come out there to play their game, so at least they can access that in excess of $28,000. And $30,000 was used to excavate and to bring the field part of it at least to a standard where the young people up there can participate in their local sporting activities. There's also upgrades to some of the basketball courts in Pishne, for example, in Paybush, in Bagatelle. I saw Paybush looking very, very, very good, and I saw you all enjoying the excitement of that new court. Thanks to your leadership in the area and to your support to the sports division. Mr. Speaker, we also continue with repairs under the youth division, youth center, and youth enterprise centers. We presently, the sum of $257,839.50 was issued to the Granby Village Council as the implementing agency for the repairs of the youth center and the youth enterprise center in Granby, 2 buildings. And what we've done is to change from galvanizing covering to concrete, so at least we can have those 2 centers that can be used. We have to be resilient, and it can be used as hurricane shelters if we have to. God forbid, but if we have to, at least we feel safer that we have those kinds, and we're hoping not to experience much damage like we did. This project is nearing completion, and this project brought quite a few people employment in the area because we had the 2 contractors, one each for each of the buildings, who themselves contracted and brought in young people to work with them. Mr. Speaker, we have budgeted for the Roseau Youth Center and the Marigot Youth Center a total of $725,000. The Roseau Youth Center, we are going to repair the one where they are presently, because the Roseau Youth Center really was destroyed totally down at Fokoli. And so we are presently at the Youth Center, and we will repair the one at the Youth Center where they are presently, and we will see work at the Marigot Youth Center. Although presently there is work being done at the Marigot Youth Center where they are repairing the kitchen part, so that they can continue with their small programs at the youth center. But we will pursue some more work. The Daly's Youth Center is one of our concern. We really need to consolidate and work with them. But this we're expecting to get because the report that we got is that because of the structural integrity, we might have to demolish the entire thing and construct something new. So we are hoping that we can address it in this near future. Under the Youth Center, the DYBT will continue their projects funded by IOM, where they will assist with 50 business plans, and they'll work with entrepreneurs to ensure over the next 2 years to ensure that they can get people into entrepreneurship and promote their own sustainable businesses. Mr. Speaker, under constituency empowerment, for the past year, we did quite a bit of work, and we will continue. We have $1.3 million, I saw in the budget, $1.3 million towards $1.2 million towards constituency empowerment. But over the past year under constituency empowerment, we had $2 million last year, and we've spent quite a bit. Castle we used some of those to assist in transportation of our students from school. Those were challenged in Koliho, transportation of students to assist them in ensuring that they can get to college. In Cottage, we saw the transportation assistance given. In Grand Bay, we saw transportation assistance. We also, that was where we also saw social sustenance to some of our single parents who are not employed and who are challenged. So we were able to give them a little subsistence on a monthly basis for a period of time. Excavation of the Geneva clearing field, resurfacing of some of our roads in Tetmon. We also did resurfacing of the road somewhere in Geneva House, and we did from Highland to the Pierre Charles Boulevard. Some of those works were done under constituency empowerment. In Maho, we saw assistance to some elderly senior citizens. We saw assistance to some of them. We saw also assistance to Feed My Sheep, another community organization. Paybush, transportation assistance was given to students. Transportation assistance in Portsmouth. Rosa South assisted some young group in some sporting activity. We saw Salisbury, transportation assistance to students, and Soufriere, clearing of the tourism site at Point Michel. So, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Constituency Empowerment has been engaging quite a bit of community groups and community organizations in some of the development processes. We also, through the Constituency Empowerment, were able to assist with Carnival in 2019, where we assisted various communities in our local Carnival product. And this is important in ensuring that we can keep our legal culture alive. Mr. Speaker, if you allow me to just run through briefly, I know you mentioned a few for Grand Bay. I will not expound too much, but if you allow me to go briefly, I must say that I am proud during my tenure as the PAL rep that we have presently in excess of 21 students at university studying various fields. We've seen in this last financial year the Geneva Bailey Bridge completed. We also saw the Bailey Bridge go into the primary school set up, and our students are moving safely. Our passengers, our vehicles are moving freely now from one point to another. This was, I really was passionate about that one because I knew how it affected the students. Housing, our housing by MMC continues, where we are hoping to house, I think, about 62 families. Housing repair and construction continues with funds through the various village councils in the constituency. The Tetmon Primary School land has been identified and same to be acquired. I think the ministry responsible for lands and housing is looking at purchasing the land so that we can construct the primary school to be given by the government and the people of China. Improvements to our water supply, well, you are very familiar with that one, from Tetmon into Soufriere. But out of that, I am hoping at least the people from Tetmon, Mountain, and Grand Colibri will be very, very happy. Because because of the water power, they suffer tremendously with lack of water. So I'm hoping with that, that problem will be a problem of the past, and now we will see improvement to water in those areas. The Lubier Bagatelle Road is something that is on the pipeline under the Ministry of Public Works, and we will see that commencing to include the Mitcham Bridge that you spoke about last night. With the new policies that were articulated in this year's budget, Mr. Speaker, I am very, very elated with some of them, with all of them. But I want to just mention a few of them that I know will impact positively on many people in my constituency and outside of Dominica by extension. Our young people, tertiary education, no tuition, well, that has been articulated even before. Increased maternity grant. Even this morning, somebody came to me, a pregnant lady, and she said, I heard something on the budget. What is that all about pregnant women? And I was able to explain to her, to let her know, you're not going to get $525, you're going to get $1,000, And I mean, they are happy with that because you know how well a little extra few $100s can go, because some people are committed, they are working, yes, but they are committed. And when you can get a few $100s in excess so you can take care of your family, they are happy about it. Don't underestimate the impact those things can have on our people. And sometimes I say, that is why I say all of us benefit from those policies, directly or indirectly. Because even as a PAL rep, opposition PAL rep, government PAL rep, sometimes when the young people are going through challenges, financial challenges, the tendency is to come to the PAL rep and see if they can assist them or if they can support them. And if those things happen, it means, therefore, with that extra money that you give to them, they will not go to the PAL rep for money. So all the opposition PAL rep and all the government PAL rep benefit from that.
You have 5 minutes left.
That's okay, thanks, that's all right. All the opposition and government PAL rep benefit from that. Can you imagine? From the maternity grant, we benefit from it because our money will remain in our pocket. That is why I tell all Dominicans benefit from government programs. The removal of VAT on some of the caring of items used for caring babies and elderly, the positions that were created in the Ministry of Health and Social and Education, which will allow for upward mobility, which will allow for flexibility, which will allow for more time and towards caring of patients. I hope it will improve the morale of our staff, our nurses, our teachers, and so our people will feel comfortable, will feel more relaxed when they go to those institutions for services. If that is the issue, we are hoping we can address it and we can feel the difference when we go out there for care. Appointment of our teachers within a specified period of time, because we know sometimes they lament the amount of time that they have to stay. But I want to exhort them to perform so that they can be appointed. We have to perform. It's not just getting an appointment. You have to show that, look, I am ready and I am doing what I'm supposed to do, so that we can at least get we can get the support that is required. The new housing program, Madam Speaker, all of those programs in the budget is just, if we have to sit and elaborate on every one. I just want to thank again the Honorable Prime Minister, the Ministry of Finance, the Financial Secretary, the Ministers of Government who sit long hours to ensure that all of those things, the public officers, to make sure that all of those things are put in perspective, and we can make sure that these are things that are objective, these are things that are achievable, because we know where the money is coming from. And Madam Speaker, I really want to thank all the people with whom I want to thank the Prime Minister for allowing me the privilege. I'm saying that because this may very well be my last budget. I think it is, yeah? My last budget delivery. Because I have informed the Honorable Prime Minister of my... Yes, I have informed the Honorable Prime Minister. It's not that the Honorable Prime Minister pushed me off. We have agreed that I have done my share in active politics. Be careful. Active politics. Because I will continue to be a wizard for the Dominica Labour Party. Wizard for the Dominica Labour Party. So I want to thank him for giving me that opportunity. I want to thank the people of Granby for the level of support that they've given to me, the people of Dominica, you walk into Roseau, you walk other areas, and the encouragement that you get, I really want to thank them. I think they made it easier for me. So I really want to thank them. And I want to say to the Honorable Prime Minister and my Labour Party colleagues, count on me for continued support to the Dominica Labour Party for our victory at this election and beyond. God bless.
Madam Speaker, I rise to give my full support of this all-inclusive budget presented by the Honorable Prime Minister. Madam Speaker, I'd like to ask you a question. How does one measure performance? Many look at the past performance based on what was expected of others. After a storm, what do you expect from your parliamentary representative or your political party? Obviously, we expect them to care and we expect them to help, to lend a helping hand. Madam Speaker, only one member on the other side has been able to articulate what he was able to establish for his community. But here is a sample of real performance by one charitable organization in Dominica with the help of their counterparts. They were able to provide 10 container loads of clothing, bottled water, building materials, distribution of over 250 water filtration units. They were able to cover over 12 roofs of persons who had lost their roofs. They were able to restore the livelihood of 50 fishermen by providing them with fish pots. They were able to provide computer equipment for the SDA secondary school with brand new items. They were able to assist 2 institutions who did not have insurance and were able to cover their roofs. They were able to provide assistance for the completion and renovations of the grotto home. They were also able to provide assistance to Operation Youthquake in terms of covering the roof also. Madam Speaker, this is what I call a real track record. This is what caring is about. This is what friends, this is what having friends is about. This is what, when you have friends who believe in you, what you're able to accomplish. This shows true leadership as compared to that of the United Workers' Party. Madam Speaker, I want to also ask permission to read from my speech from time to time. I continue to give the full support of the budget. Tourism will remain one of the main pillars of the economy, and the Ministry of Tourism will continue to work hand in hand with all of the other ministries to ensure that we create that enabling environment for our people and the betterment of our country. And these will extend to agriculture, sports, culture, manufacturing, education, and many other areas. Madam Speaker, in life, we are often faced with challenges which we unfortunately have no control over, such as UWP in 2000, Tropical Storm Erica in 2015, and Hurricane Maria in 2017. Many would have you believe that you should just dust your clothes off and simply return to life the day after. But we know that's not true. Tropical Storm Erica cost us 96% of our GDP. Hurricane Maria cost us 226% of our GDP. Can you imagine losing 2 years' worth of your salary? Imagine how long it would take you to return to normal. Madam Speaker, I would like to give a full account of the hard work done by the Ministry of Tourism, the Discover Dominica Authority, and all of the dedicated and committed staff. For the fiscal year 2018-2019, the Ministry was able to strive for sustainable development through its programs that focused on marketing, promoting Dominica, preserving Dominica's culture and heritage, and the development and enhancement of a resilient tourism infrastructure. The Ministry of Tourism has been working tirelessly in ensuring that visitors can return to a safe and more attractive Dominica, and has since recorded remarkable progress. The Division of Culture developed and continued to work diligently in preserving Dominica's culture through its many programs, activities, as they continue to rebuild from the effects of Hurricane Maria. During the financial year, we focused on the following key areas: resilience in the sector for infrastructural developments, facility upgrades, sustainable preservation of natural environment, the creation of linkages, and capacity building initiatives, all of which contributed to the embellishment of our product and service offerings while enhancing the experience of our visitors. Special emphasis was placed on the enhancement of sites in the north and south of the island as we prepare for the opening of the many hotels and resorts. Though implementation was hindered by reduced availability of qualified contractors, as many of them were still engaged in many of the construction jobs, the ministry saw an implementation rate of 66.85%, utilizing a budget of $6.5 million. In order to improve our implementation rate, my team already has designs and costings for most projects for this new financial year, so we are hoping to put as much pressure on the Ministry of Finance to provide us with the funding so we can implement these projects on a timely basis, most importantly for the benefit of the people of Dominica. Under tourism site enhancement, this project has ensured that the sites, buildings, trails, and infrastructure are maintained, improved, and sustained. Enhancement was seen at all major sites of attraction as the ministry built more resilient infrastructure. In an effort to enhance safety and security of the visitors, the ministry invested in the construction of new viewing platforms at Trafalgar and at Emerald Pool. These new platforms have increased the capacity by over 50%, but more importantly, improving on the comfort and safety of our visitors and our locals at our sites. Improvement works were done on key trails across the island to include Spani Falls, Sari Sari Falls, Victoria Falls, and Anna Wavin Siwik. The enhancement of the trails has increased the visitor experience, also reducing the level of difficulty. Work has commenced on the reconstruction of the Carabantic, which was destroyed during the passage of Hurricane Maria, and on the Scottshead viewpoint, where better access is being created and complete restoration of the battery, cistern, cannon, and stone walls are being undertaken as we speak. All of this is already being enjoyed by our locals and also our visitors. And these interventions also create significant jobs for persons in the various areas. The ministry has completed designs for the construction of the Water Wave and Vending Arcade and the reception facility, which will be located on the Shangri-La estate. Government has already acquired the property, and the necessary feasibility studies have been conducted. Under community tourism, the ministry proudly supports all, and I must say, organized community tourism groups, and we suggest that to the power reps on the other side, if you expect your, or if you want and you wish for your community tourism groups to thrive, you have to ensure that they are active and they are members of the Dominica Community Tourism Committee. The community tourism program went beyond the conventional limits of promotion of volunteerism, heritage, and cultural tourism. And when we speak of volunteer tourism, one organization that we worked with, which was All Hands and Hearts, they were able to bring in over close to 1,500 volunteers to work in Dominica. So as you can see, volunteer tourism has its ability to provide additional awareness of Dominica, bring more persons to Dominica, and at the same time for them to help our people in Dominica. Over 2018-2019 financial year, the programs accounted for a significant increase in job creation in the rural communities. Some 12 communities were able to benefit from increased employment opportunities on construction jobs, trail rehabilitation, and other areas of employment. And over 60 jobs were created whilst we did these things. Some of the major projects we were implementing was the construction of a restaurant at the Kana Heritage Park to position the community groups to take advantage of the new opportunities that will be created by the new hotels and also the Waitikubuli National Trail, segment 13, ends in that area. The reconstruction of new boardwalks and viewing platform at Col Soufriere at the site in Penville. This is one of the many efforts following the construction of the reception facility that the ministry undertook to upgrade the site's infrastructure. So I appeal to all Dominicans, take some time and go out to all of our beautiful sites so you can assist us in helping to promote your country and at the same time making sure that your kids know Dominica better. Other interventions included the construction of washroom facilities in Cassibruce, trail development in Vacaz and Tantan, and the beautification project at Melvinol. Significant work was also done at the Indian River to include the cleanup of all the various derelict items in that area, and we ensure that these items were disposed of in a responsible manner. Various initiatives were also undertaken at the Kalnago territory, which included the completion of the thatch roofs at the KBA, the implementation of signage project involving the installation of directional signage in each of the 8 hamlets, construction of 8 kiosks, and just last week? Last week we actually handed them over, and I'm proud to say that I've seen images of the vendors using those facilities already. So, and I want to make a commitment that we saw that also at the washroom facility needed some work, so we are committed again to working with the community to ensure that all persons have a much safer and better environment for all. In terms of coastal marine development, during the fiscal year 2018, we sought to undertake development of initiatives across the island which focused to a very large extent on the coastal and marine environment. Yachting facilities around the country required urgent attention, so the ministry focused on jetties in Tukari and Portsmouth, with the former being already completed. So again, so much work is being done in Dominica, but you must take some time to go out and take a look at it. The construction was signed, a contract was signed for the construction of a new jetty at Purple Turtle, which will commence soon. In an effort to transform both Miro and Purple Turtle beaches, the ministry has already engaged an architect with a view of producing designs for the boardwalk at both sites. And I have seen what I call draft copies of those, and I must say they are beautiful, and it will definitely enhance and make our area so much more beautiful. The Miro facility will commence from the Iolibla Highway and stretch for approximately 100 meters onto the beachfront. I will include planters among other aesthetically pleasing components. The Purple Turtle project will include a boardwalk adjacent to the beach and will see substantial embellishment of the surrounding, including proper parking. The ministry has also procured 150 beach umbrellas, 150 chairs, which was distributed last week to dozens of stakeholders along the West Coast. I also want to say that I want to express my sympathy to the family of the young guy who was a pillar in the Miro area. He was the guy who was taking care of the beach. He was the guy taking care of the umbrellas. Unfortunately, he passed away, and my sympathies to the family and also to the entire village of Miro. On the climate resilience, the ministry undertook key interventions to the procurement of 10,000 reusable shopping bags. So in listening to the wishes of the Prime Minister in making Dominica one of the first climate resilient countries, and also remembering that we have been sponsoring significant amounts in terms of beach cleanup with various organizations along Dominica, and a significant amount of that issue are garbage bags and plastic bags. So we undertook to purchase 10,000 reusable shopping bags, and we encourage persons who have those bags to use those bags, because when you discard of these bags in not appropriate manner, it ends up in our rivers, it ends up in our beaches, making a complete mess. The ministry has also trained 100 persons in collaboration with the University of the West Indies in sustainable tourism and climate resilience at various areas along in Dominica, including Roseau, the Kalnago territory, and Point Michel. In terms of the cultural division, heavy emphasis was placed on the rebuilding of the infrastructure. Work has commenced on the ongoing rehabilitation of the Arak House of Culture. And I saw recently on Facebook that persons, especially out in the diaspora, were making a huge fuss that they were seeing nothing happening at the Arawak House of Culture. But I say to you, those of you, well, you may not be able to go inside, but significant work is being done on the inside. The entire inside of the Arawak House of Culture had to be stripped. All the carpeting, all the chairs, all the ceiling. So a lot of work is being done, and the contractors are feverishly working there so that these sites can be back in order before the end of October. The same is also happening at the Old Mill with the rehabilitation and construction of the stage, the rehabilitation of the dance studio, and also of the wood carving studio. The Ministry of Culture was able to successfully host the 40th anniversary of independence, the opening of Independence Flag Day, which was a great thing, Miss Wob and duet pageants, the cultural gala, among many other activities, including the hosting of Dumfesta. The Discover Dominica Authority, the department responsible for marketing, spearheaded specific programs over the last financial year, which translated into an increase in visitor arrivals over the last year. The main objective of the marketing department post-Hurricane Maria was to maintain visibility of the destination after such a tremendous hurricane, raise awareness of successes and improvements, improve stakeholder engagement and participation, and improve marketability of hotels. The approach of the Discover Dominica Authority and the Ministry of Tourism produced great results as it relates to arrivals over the last year. According to Discover Dominica's visitor statistics, a strong performance in visitor arrivals in the first quarter of 2019 was recorded at 163,457 persons. Stayover arrivals for the first quarter in 2019 increased by 87.5% over 2018 and 11.2% over 2017. Cruise visitors during the same period increased by 144,751. But as we will remember, many persons thought that we were never going to be able to come back after such a humongous storm. So I really want to thank all of the stakeholders who came together to make this a reality. It's not the Ministry of Tourism alone did it by themselves, but it's all of the stakeholders, it's all of the various ministerial departments coming together and making this a reality. Significant progress was also recorded in the yachting sector with an increase in arrivals of over 52%. In keeping with the trend and momentum for fourth quarter of 2018, stayover arrivals continue to show improvements over previous periods. A sterling performance for the first 6 months of 2019 shows 43,447 stayover visitors, resulting in a 67% increase over 2018, and also an 8% increase over 2017. So, Madam Speaker, what we are seeing is that, Mr. Speaker, my apologies, what we are seeing is that tourism is moving in the right direction. One of the trends that we also saw, which is very interesting, there's something called disruptive technologies. Most of us heard of Uber, which has changed the landscape for taxi drivers. The same thing applies to the what they call B2B, or bed and breakfast, or the Airbnb model. What we have seen from many of the car rental companies is that they say to you, someone comes to Dominica for 7 days now, but guess what? They don't stay at one property anymore. And a significant amount of them are also using non-traditional hotels, so they're staying at people's homes. So they will spend 2 days in Portsmouth, but I think that's a fantastic idea. Then they will stay 2 days in the middle of the island, and then they'll spend another 2 or 3 days in the south of the island. So they're able to experience the best of Dominica, but more importantly, it allows revenue and funds to spread throughout the island very evenly. So the persons in the hotel sector also need to take note of that and be aware of these trends. The Technical Committee on A-Access has dialogue with a number of players towards increasing capacity to Dominica, improving the convenience of service, and positively impacting on the price competitiveness. Besides working to restore scheduled service to the destination post-Hurricane Maria, the committee has also increased capacity from Pointe-à-Pitre on Air Antilles to connect with low-cost carriers Norwegian. Some persons will say, well, we know that Norwegian is no longer going to be servicing these French islands, but we also know that JetBlue will be doing that, and we have already secured arrangements with Air Antilles to provide additional new flights from Guadeloupe into Canefield and from Martinique into Douglas Charles Airport. The Festivals Commission in 2018 was able to hold a successful World Creole Music Festival event, also Mass Dominique and Jazz. After the absence of 2017, the 2018 edition of the World Creole Music Festival was well received. The visitor arrivals to the destination for the month of October almost increased twofold for the same period in 2017. In 2018, in spite of the impact of the monster storm and the monster hurricane, this festival attracted over 9,068 stay-over arrivals to our shores. And for the week of the World Creole Music Festival, 5,735 persons came to Dominica, impacting expenditure on the island in a massive way. The authority continues to improve these events, which serve as a critical pull for visitors to the island. Mr. Speaker, I will now speak on the interventions for the fiscal year 2019-2020. But as you can see, the Ministry of Tourism is fully engaged, and we are doing a lot. I think if we had to speak about every single thing that we did, I would have to be here for about 5 to 6 hours. During the fiscal year 2019, the Ministry of Tourism and Culture will pay much attention to the continued development of our tourism in rural communities through its Community Tourism Expansion Program, the enhancement of sites through its Tourism Enhancement Program, and will promote sustainable use of coastal and marine resources under its Coastal and Marine Tourism Development Program. Special emphasis has been placed on sites and attraction, with special emphasis on heritage and cultural tourism and the whole issue of sustainability. The following major activities will be executed. We currently have a budget of $12.54 million, which we are going to execute in the following ways. Under site enhancement, we're looking at the upgrade of our sites. One of the things that we want to do is to ensure that our sites meet and exceed international standards. So this will involve the construction of gazebos, benches, picnic tables, and rehabilitation of the washroom facilities. Our Monbrew site is one of our very important sites, and a lot of work will be done there, which will include the rehabilitations of walkways and rails, the construction of gazebo, and the installation of the appropriate signage. Procurement and installation of solar systems for 4 sites, namely Trafalgar Falls, Emerald Pool, Fort Shirley, Indian River, as we build to make our tourism infrastructure more resilient. The installation of better water catchment and storage areas, again to ensure the resilience of the area. The upgrade of the Rosa Museum, which is also used as what we call the cruise nest. So many of the cruise employees on the vessel, many times you see them walking around town aimlessly looking for Wi-Fi spots, or you see them sitting on the side of the road. So we've created a specific area for them so that they are more comfortable, because these are the same guys who can talk very positively about our country. So if we make them more comfortable, clearly they will provide and speak better and highly of Dominica. We'll be developing site brochures and also talking about our recycling initiatives, and also the continuation of projects to increase our interpretation signage at the various sites, and also signage around the city. Under community, cultural and heritage tourism, we're looking at the rehabilitation of the commandant's quarters at Fort Shirley. So no longer you just have to stay in one area. There are much more areas inside of there. Those of you who, maybe when you went to school, there was so much more you could see inside of there. So we are committed to working with improving on the site. The development of the Carnago Territory Gateway and the 1930s Memorial. The development of the Geneva Heritage Site through the restoration of its ruins. The Indian River Exit Trail to ensure safety and security of our visitors. The Marigot-Melville Road Beautification project. I just saw some pictures of the Ministry of Forestry doing its planting, so we are here to support. the Hampstead Benz Heritage Project. This includes the rehabilitation of the Old Methodist Church. As we know, it's a beautiful church, as a tourist site to host weddings, and the restoration of the water mill. Restoration works at the Old Mill Cultural Center to include the restoration of the water mill and tunnel. We have so much rich history. We have to ensure that we can reestablish these areas so that our youth, our people of Dominica can understand where we came from, but at the same time our visitors will be more than happy to appreciate those. We just completed the washroom facility at Castle Bruce, but we also be doing vendors kiosks there, the Shodia Pool Interpretation Center. We continue to provide support to the Dominica Community Tourism Association. Every year we do a subvention of about $250,000, and that helps to provide them with management, because many of the various community tourism areas, they are unable to write proper projects. So by having the proper management structure in there, you can now interact with them, and they will assist you in terms of providing and preparing project plans for funding by the Ministry of Tourism or by any other organization. So I say to Mr. Senator Basil, please contact Mr. Lester Revere. He's the manager there, and he'd be more than happy to assist him in writing the Pan Lake Iguana Tour project.
Mr. Basil is the member for Wesley.
Senator Basil, the member for Wesley.
He's not a senator. He's the member for Wesley.
The member for Wesley. Thank you very much. Continuation of works at the Cana Heritage Park to include a restaurant and the Buanef Trail. In terms of coastal marine, we are well aware that many of these organizations provide significant employment for their people and also for their families, and we are making sure that when guests come to Dominica, they can have a much better time. So under this, we will see the continuation of the construction of the Pace Jetty at Purple Turtle, the construction, as I said, of the Purple Turtle Beach boardwalk with amenities to include change rooms, watchtowers, tiki huts, and vending stalls. The Tukari Beach enhancement, which involves the construction of gazebos, picnic tables, and also cleanup and beautification. The mirror enhancement to include the watchtower, gazebo, tiki hut, upgrade of the reception buildings. The renovation of the Lama building in Sufria to provide for a tourism reception space. The Newtown mooring enhancement, again, it will allow for many of the yachts to come in safely, but more importantly, to provide employment for the youth in the area. The Red Rock site enhancement, which involves the construction of gazebos and trails. The development and enhancement at Champagne Beach to include vending space and dive center. As you can see, Mr. Speaker, we are doing a lot of work. And as I said last year, we were able to accomplish a 67% implementation rate, and based on the changes that we've made, we're sure we can achieve a 90%. Other projects we are pushing to include is the construction of the Wharton Waven Tourism Facility at Shangri-La. This project involves the construction of 15 vending units, a reception facility, the construction of 2 restaurants, hot sulfur water pools, and spa. With regard to the Division of Culture, this financial year will bring the completion of the rehabilitation of the Iowa House of Culture. There is much work to be done, as I said, electrical installation, ceiling works over the stage, rehabilitation of washrooms, facilities, development of facade for the main entrance, light and sound, carpeting. So a lot of work is being done and will be done. With regards to the Old Mill, we still have more work to do at the Old Mill, which will include the completion of the stage, the construction of the Pan House. All of this is going to be totaling about $1 million. So we are committed again to bringing back Pan and making it stronger. This year, I'm proud to say that the Cultural Division will be attending the Carifesta event, which will be held in Trinidad and Tobago from August 16th to 25th. 40 persons will be representing Dominica at this event. This festival is a platform for further promotion and marketing of the region's cultural expressions and artistic projects. Dominica's stage presentation takes the form of a choreographed production entitled Evolution, which tells the story of the evolution of Dominica's music and people by extension. We're also using this opportunity for persons in Trinidad to be more aware of Dominica and hoping that we'll have so many more persons here for World Creole Music Festival. In terms of opportunities for artists, musicians, and artisans, training programs will continue island-wide for artists, musicians, dancers, craft persons, and in other areas of cultural development, such as stage management and production, light and sound technical skills. Year-round training programs will also continue at the Dominica Institute for Arts, based on the Old Mill Cultural Center for Arts and Craft Persons. Arts and education programs will be intensified across schools around the island. More opportunities for artists, including musicians, to showcase their work at the various events such as Carnival, Domfesta, Emancipation, Independence, and World Creole Music Festival. Artists and craft persons will also be engaged for works at the various hotels which are now being constructed. I am pleased to advise that the facility at the Aid Bank of $1 million is available at affordable rates at only 2%, and I am told persons are already accessing that facility. But clearly, one has to repay and one must come up with a proper plan to access these funds. The Discover Dominica Authority, in collaboration with the Ministry, has developed a marketing strategy and action plan for the fiscal period and beyond. This plan looks at the situational analysis of the universe of potential visitors to Dominica to ensure that the destination positioning is accurate as can be. It is informed by the trends in global tourism and their applicability to the current Dominican context, as well as the digital tools available in the marketing mix from Dominica, which can draw. More specifically, it calls out for the following. The plan communicates that Dominica is a purest island in the Caribbean, a place shimmering with joy of nature and life well lived. A visit to Dominica is transformative and deeply personal experience. Therefore, customized marketing strategies and action plans in each market source will be focused on addressing the particular segments and supported by the budget response required. Utilization of traditional marketing mix tactics such as press release, press trips, familiarization trips, trade and consumer shows, campaigns, B2Bs, the use of digital tools will also allow for real-time monitoring and measuring return on investment. We fully support the construction of the international airport, not only to improve direct and same-day access, but for the other positive spin-offs that one can capitalize on, which will include the export of agricultural products and also the export of products from our various artisans and also from the manufacturing sector. An air access development plan that looks to increase capacity and improve convenience by better partnering with our regional airlines and hub airports that serve Dominica to maximize on our various options continue to happen. We continue to speak with the travel agents, tour operators, ensuring and explaining to them convenient ways to get to Dominica. Leveraging the media attention that we receive from the CBI, enabled by new room stock, the luxury space will provide for increased awareness and generate interest and drive sales, at the same time improving ease of doing business with smaller boutique properties throughout Dominica. As I stand today, I am very excited about the prospect for Dominica. Mr. Speaker, your government has been able to turn things around despite the impacts of 2 natural disasters. The prudential management of the country's finance and significant savings has allowed us to bounce back quickly. When many would have written us off, we were not daunted. We brought the best minds of the tourism sector together and created a post-Maria task force to chart the way forward. And I can say, together as a team, the results have been positive. I want to thank all the various tourism stakeholders, the Dominica Hotel Association, and other governmental ministries, and the staff of the ministry, and the Discover Dominica Authority, and the Festivals Commission for your sterling dedication to the people of Dominica. We continue to work with the existing local hotels and thank them for what they've done for the country and our people. We are committed to working with you and assisting you in providing awareness to Dominica, training for your staff, and also access to affordable finance at the Aid Bank. Today, the opportunities are endless, and we all have to prepare and position ourselves as Dominicans to benefit and capitalize from the tourism thrust. While the Discover Dominica Authority is actively engaged in promoting our beautiful island, the two recently opened 5-star properties are providing additional awareness for our country. Many of us have seen the positive media releases that persons have been putting out and really showing Dominica in a positive and beautiful light. Secret Bay now operates 6 rooms and manned by 36 staff, with plans to expand to 42, with the expectation that over 150 persons will be employed on completion. Jungle Bay now operates 30 rooms and is manned by 63 staff. They currently have 96 construction workers, and on completion of 85 rooms, they will have a complement of 150 staff. Kempinski Resort will operate with 161 rooms and employ 170 staff on startup. But currently, as we speak right now, there are over 550 construction workers employed on the site to ensure timely construction. Anichi Resort, branded by Marriott with 128 rooms, and Tranquility Beach, branded by Hilton Curio with 73 rooms, are both in the construction phase, hiring hundreds of construction workers. While many will be amazed by the impact of these hotels, this did not occur by chance. This was a calculated policy by the government to create an avenue for such 5-star properties, which would achieve the following: increased or additional awareness of the island based on the international brands, improved spend by visitors, improved service standards and guest experience for all, increased employment, and increased foreign exchange. The 2 open properties with 36 rooms have already created 98 jobs, of which 90% of these employees are local. This exceeds the requirement by contract, where they must employ no less than 75 local persons. This not only shows the commitment of the operators, but it also says that we have capable human resource right here in Dominica. Madam Speaker, the staffing complement shows that the vision and policy of the government to provide better access to education and scholarships to go abroad to study has borne fruit. Now with free tuition for all to attend the Dominica State College will only further strengthen our human capital on the island. One property manager which we interviewed revealed the following: that he spends close to $30,000 a month. $30,000 a month directly in the local economy to purchase agricultural products, fruits and vegetables, seafood, fish and lobster, bread and pastry, tour guiding, and transportation. But this $40,000 that he's spending directly in the economy is for only 6 rooms. So you can well imagine that when we have 700 high-end rooms operational, the impact on the economy of Dominica. Many persons indicated that none of this would happen, but we are seeing that nothing in life comes easy. Many things take time. We all have our own lives. And we have many amazing plans. They never happen overnight. They take time. And once we're committed to it, it will work. So, Madam Speaker, right now, by the end of the year, once the Kempinski Hotel is open, you will have over 268 new jobs that have been created. I fully support the creation of the new cruise, ferry, and cargo port. This will not only improve access to Dominica, the comfort of our visitors, but based on what the cruise ships like, it will increase additional persons and additional ships to come to Dominica. It will also improve on the whole issue of dispatch and make the experience of all a lot better. I am happy that we were also able to pass the removal of import duty and excise tax on all buses, all the large buses, on buses no longer than 5 years old. As we are aware, these buses are very important to the cruise business, and we never want to have the situation that we had after Hurricane Maria, where persons came back, and from time to time, the cruise lines had to send persons back on the ship because we did not have proper and sufficient transportation. Many of our buses are old, and this is the perfect opportunity for those in the business right now and even new persons to come into that cruise business and capitalize on it. We're also working with and speaking with the Transport Board, and I know that the Taxi Association has provided them with the information in terms of the rates, again, to ensure that we have the reduction of the cutting of prices, again, to ensure that everybody makes the right amount of money. In terms of marijuana, I fully support the policy to decriminalize the possession for not more than 1 ounce of marijuana. Why I say that? From time to time, I see many persons who come to me and are looking for certification to be in the tourism business. And unfortunately, many of them have a record and they're unable to be part of that. With their records being able to be wiped out now, it now provides them with the ability to come back or come into the tourism business. I'm very excited about the digital economy. Many persons may not really and truly understand what it means, but digital connectivity, digital platforms, services, I guess all of that sounds like Greek to many. But to put it in simple terms, excuse me? Blockchain, wonderful. I hope you invested in it. We are now implementing a robust and resilient IT infrastructure, one that connects all key government institutions with multiple layers of fail-safe, including overhead fiber. So in case that overhead fiber gets disconnected, you now have underground ducting. In the event that underground ducting gets compromised, you also have microwave, which is sending the signal from one building to a next building. And even in the worst case scenario, if all of that gets disconnected, you also have satellite connectivity. So do you remember losing phone and internet connectivity on the night of Hurricane Maria? Do you remember how it felt not hearing from your loved ones, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother and grandparents? This will be a thing of the past. We may go down for a few hours, but we will never go down for days. Again, your government is committed to making your country a better one. Do you remember those of you who were smart enough to withdraw funds from the ATM before they were closed? And even if you had funds, for weeks you could not do anything with it. With a true digital economy and cashless society, such issues will be a thing of the past. It will also allow money to be transferred faster and cheaper. In terms of education, many of you here have children. Many of you have grandchildren. Have you ever lifted the bag of your 8-year-old? Have you? School bag. It is extremely heavy. With this infrastructure, it now allows children to have a simple tablet. It allows the entire school curriculum to be online. So you no longer have to buy 8 books. You no longer have to lift that heavy bag. Sometimes you see the kids walking like this because the bags are 30 to 40 to 50 pounds. So this infrastructure allows the students to have all of their work on a tablet. Imagine that you are sick or your child is sick. It now allows you to stay home and follow the class. So ladies and gentlemen, and especially the youth, don't let these amazing opportunities pass you by. Do you know soon that traditional call centers will be a thing of the past? With proper high-speed internet, which we already have, you can now provide the same services from home to the same organizations. But why settle for being an employee? If we're smart enough, let us as people create the opportunities. Let us create the software to provide those facilities. Just recently, someone from Jamaica has been talking to me about that. But I know we can do it here ourselves. And guess what? By doing that, you no longer have a whole building. You no longer have air conditioning. So guess what happens? As opposed to paying for those monies go in the pockets of the persons providing the direct service. In terms of Wi-Fi, again, based on the plan that the government has and the contract we have with Digicel, the Ministry of Tourism is already taking advantage of this. And will soon roll out by the end, before October is over, the provision of Wi-Fi at 16 of our tourism sites. This will not only improve visitor experience, but it allows us to market Dominica in a better way. So imagine you have 100,000 people on Dominica, They go to all of those 16 sites. At every site, there'll be a selfie station. They can take a picture. They can post it out to the world, into the wider world, and show and promote Dominica. But at the same time, we have to be smart. So you'll be allowed a first session of 15 minutes, maybe a second session of 15 minutes, but after that, you have to pay. So again, it allows us to be sustainable and to repair and again expand that system throughout the entire island. In terms of training, the Ministry of Tourism continues to support training. We have trained over 227 persons last year. I'm very proud of the 91 persons or individuals who did the training in Portsmouth recently. And this included taxi drivers, owners of properties. 91 of them came and they basically learned how to provide the 5-star level of service. And more importantly, too, they were also taught how to have a sustainable business. So we are doing all in our power to ensure that our people are equipped and have the tools and the education to capitalize on the opportunities out there. Very soon, before the end of the month, we have the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institution via the Organization of American States will be providing training to 94 persons. So 94 persons have been selected by them, and I wish them all the best in this training program. In terms of the Hospitality Institute, we fully support the establishment of the fully fledged Hospitality Training Institute, because we've known over the years many of the existing tourism providers have stated that there's a slight disconnect, there's a gap. Persons need to have more hands-on training as it relates to tourism. So this institute will provide the ability for us to train our professions, and like the Prime Minister said, not only just for tourism, but we also need to have what I call a service aspect of it. Service in general. We want to improve and increase on the ability of our persons to provide the best level of service. Many of us go to the States, and we see persons, we go to stores, and we see people, and the way they interact with us, sometimes you shake your head and say, but that person knows me, man. Because the way that they deal with you. So by having this institute, having the best staff to train our people, we will be able to provide that 5-star level of service. Madam Speaker, I say again, for all Dominicans, that the future is bright. Let us continue to support the great works of the government of Dominica led by the Labour Party. The Ministry of Tourism is also fully committed. I thank you.
Madam Speaker, I move that this House be suspended until 3 p.m. this afternoon.
It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable House be suspended until 3 p.m. this afternoon. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. This Honorable House stands suspended until 3 p.m. this afternoon.
Speaker.